Hello everybody, Charlie's Cards here. A little bit of Oakland flavor tonight. You say, what are you bringing to the table tonight, Charlie's Cards? And what does MC Hammer have to do with it? Well, surprisingly enough, MC Hammer has a big role, not a big role, a role in Major League Baseball. And let's see what it is. Remember when MC Hammer was a bat boy for the Oakland A's? So I just wanted to read you this little story tonight about MC Hammer, who is really not his real name. So let's begin the story. On opening day of a major league season, we look back at the baseballingest rapper of them all, MC Hammer, who got a taste for the executive life long before you can touch this. When was the last time you thought about MC Hammer? Until yesterday, the rapper hadn't crossed my mind since I watched Behind the Laughter, the made-up fictional final episode of The Simpsons' 11th season. There, Homer, with money to burn, buys the then broke Hammer's house and has the gates altered to read Homer Time. The only pop culture allusion that comes to my mind when I think of the man who made the 5th best-selling rap album of all time is a gag about his bankruptcy. That's rough. But before his relative anonymity, before the money dispersed, before Can Touch This and Too Legit to Quit, before the turtlenecks, there was a teenager, a boy named Stanley Burrell, who became an Oakland A's legend without ever taking the field. MC Hammer as an Oakland A's bat boy, 1980s. So there's MC Hammer. He's got Hammer on the back of his. The story goes that at 11 years old, Burrell, consumed by his passion for the game, would hang out at the Oakland Coliseum, the Athletics' home field, whenever he could. A Rolling Stone profile on Hammer from 1990 says that he was doing James Brown splits in the parking lot when he was discovered by Charlie Finley, the team's eccentric owner. Amused, Finley brought Burrell on as a bat boy. The A's players, coming off their 3rd consecutive World Series victory, nicknamed the new kid Hammer. He bore a resemblance, they said, to Hammer and Hank Aaron, the team's dominant recently retired hitter. Burrell was a part of the clubhouse, but he'd go a lot farther before long. Here's a pitch. Hammer Time. MC Hammer, a.k.a. Stanley Burrell, was an Oakland Athletics bat boy. Here, he is with Hammer and Hank Aaron in the early 70s. So I would say there's a striking resemblance there. MC Hammer with his airy shirt hanging out with the Hammer and Hank. Pretty cool. Finley apparently was turning up to games less and less frequently. He spent time instead running his insurance company out of Chicago. The staff at the A's was threadbare, and the club was in chaos. In a Los Angeles Times piece from 2000 about Hammer's baseball background, Joe Gergen wrote that the front office staff involved into a skeleton crew invested with the authority to answer the telephone and do little else. So in stepped the teenager, with few people left to report on the games to Finley, Hammer ended up sitting in the owner's box, phoning him post-game with play-by-play. Before he was old enough to buy a pack of cigarettes, Hammer was jokingly awarded the title of Executive Vice President and paid $7.50 per game for his troubles. He reveled in it, too. Gergen writes that he spotted Hammer in 1978 when the team was in dire straits and attendance was plummeting. On this particular day, the debut performance of top draft choice Mike Morgan, 1 week after his high school graduation, Burrell was on duty outside the club offices. The Hammer was 16 and semi-conspicuous. On the crown of his green and gold baseball cap in large block letters was his title, VP. For those who might not have gotten the message, he greeted the elevator operator in tones worthy of a herald. "Make my way for the PV," he commanded. "Make way for the PV," he commanded. The operator yawned. "I'll have your job," Burrell said. You can have it," the operator replied. Oakland A's bat boy MC Hammer. "You can't touch this." After graduating from high school, Hammer attended a local college in Oakland. He wanted to graduate with a degree in communications and become a professional baseball player. He even tried out for the San Francisco Giants, but neither worked out. He flirted with the idea of selling drugs in his neighborhood, but decided instead to join the Navy. Then he turned to the Bible and started his own religious rap group called the Holy Ghost Boys. Despite the brilliant name, that didn't quite work out either. Instead, the newly monikered MC Hammer decided to go it alone. Oakland outfielder Dwayne Murphy and Mike Davis each gave the rapper $20,000 to start his own record label, Bust It. He assembled a crew of dancers and DJs to back him up, worked relentlessly to push his staff to a wider audience, and eventually signed with Capitol. Even that segment of the story has an uncomfortable ending. His relationship with Murphy and Davey turned sour in the end. They insisted that he had broken contract and been slow to return their initial investment. The situation was public and ugly for a while, but they settled out of court in the end, and the ballplayers' lawyers wrote, "They will be rooting for Hammer to enjoy continued success in his career." Sounds an awful lot like a kiss of death. So this opening day, while you're watching the first of your team's 162 games, really, think about little Stanley Burrell, the kid they called Hammer, who just wanted to play ball and hit some meaty dingers. So, just when you thought MC Hammer was a rapper who got his start in Oakland, California, it's all about passion and desire, and it seems that MC Hammer loved baseball. So this is a 1973 program. Sports Illustrated, from representation of the World Series there that the A's played and won against the New York Mets. So this is Charlie Card's, an MC Hammer profile. So can't touch this. Anyway. All right. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. How about a comment? I turned my comments on finally. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm still learning this just like everybody else in the business. So I did turn on my comments. So I appreciate a comment and a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I got more fun coming. Over and out.